So this is the second video to go along with our module this week. Here we're going to talk about emergency action plans, right? Emergency action plans, it's one of those things that we need to understand the importance of them and have them and hope that we never have to use them. Or if we do have to use them, we're going to be really glad that we're set up and have a good one to start with. So your emergency action plan or your EAP is an integral part of the effort to mitigate risk or mitigate injuries, right? We're creating standards to respond to injuries, to respond to any sort of hazard, anything that happens. We're defining our roles, right, for the members of your coaching staff, your emergency personnel. We're getting all of our communication down on paper, who's doing what, going where. We're going to get all that down so that if we ever have to use something, or if we ever have an incident, we have something to go back onto that is well thought out and prepared and not in the heat of the moment, right? And that is really, really important, is that this is prepared. And so the importance of this is we can help prevent some injuries based on these emergency action plans, when we go into some of the weather contingencies and some of those things. But it is really preparing you and your staff or whoever you're working with in that sports medicine team or that idea or our team approach to high performance, that everyone's got a role to contribute to an effective emergency response and who's doing what. And there's nothing worse than if something happens and everyone's looking at each other because there's not a plan in place. Right? Having those plans in place, walking through them, knowing what they are and what to do is critical. This is also something that can be very beneficial for you as you move forward in your careers, right? And that you've done some of this work before, you know how to do it, you know how to put it on paper, and it's just a good thing to have as you walk into your future jobs, right? And so there's 7 major things that we need to include in emergency action plans. That's personnel, that's communication, right? That's our equipment, where it's got to be, transportation, maps, all that good stuff that we've all seen before, right? And so the inside your Canvas shell in this module, you see there's a document from the National Athletic Trainers Association looking through emergency action plans. Right? And at the end, there's an example of a very kind of well done emergency action plan. In your first, or the assignment that you're going to have coming up here shortly, is to build out one of those emergency action plans, right? Where we have a map of your maybe where you're doing an internship or your high school, right? A visual picture, and then you can draw out all your lines, where everyone's going to be, all that kind of great stuff that goes into that. So there will be some directions that go along with that. The textbook does a good job in this chapter, kind of working through our different contingencies and how we go about things, and some of the paperwork that we have from informed consents and documentation that we need. But really kind of dive into that document from the National Athletic Trainers Association, and you also have your directions to help guide you to build your own emergency action plan. All right. Again, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out.